Thanks for coming down, Dave.
You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. How are we?
I'm good. What we were just talking about was the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're a similar setup. But you...
I'm massively inspired by him, I can imagine.
When did you start listening to it? I've been listening since 2010.
Yeah, probably...
Some like episode 80 something out with like...
yeah.
Who was it? That comedian. What's his name? He's also got one of the biggest podcasts. He was one of the first. What's his fucking name? Adam Carolla.
Carolla.
Yes. Yeah. He was his first guest.
It was on the edge of
It was before I had all this proper streaming stuff where it was like embedded in Facebook, and I was just scrolling out because I followed Joe Rogan. I was like, oh, I'll have a listen to that, and then from that day forward.
Yeah.
But this was before you had apps on phones, so I had to like download it to my PC.
I know, right?
Then plug my phone in, copy it to my phone, and then plug my phone in.
Yeah. So I can't remember when I first started listening to Rogan, but it will be probably around a similar time, maybe a little bit after you. But the first podcast I started listening to was Kevin Smith, the director.
Oh right, yeah.
Silent Bob, as many people know him.
Yeah.
I listened to him for years and years and years because again he jumped on the bandwagon for the podcast world, and he was just massive, and it's just great. Where I work, like my day job at the minute, when I'm outside, because I work in forestry, so when I'm outside, it's just great. Just stick a podcast on for the day. You got 3 hours of Rogan normally to just.
It does make time fly by, doesn't it?
It flies by. It flies by.
So it's like driving as well, isn't it? Or anyone on a commute.
Yeah.
That's why they become so popular, because of like the convenience of it. Some people there's a thing where some people try and make podcasts the average length of a commute, which is about half an hour.
Yeah.
So like but if your podcast's that good, surely they'll just get to work and then go, well, I'll just listen to that on the way back. Because I've got another 30 minutes, and then I'll continue the next day until I finish it. But I'm subscribed to so many podcasts that when they come out with a new one, I can't listen to them all.
No.
I have to listen to... I get through about 5 or 6 and have to go, I'm just going to have to delete all these and do it again next week.
Yeah. And hopefully you'll...
Every once in a while, they have a really good guest on, one of the ones that I don't normally listen to. I'm going to have to push that onto the top of the list.
Yeah, when Rogan gets like Brian Cox on, he's blowing your mind.
Or Kevin Hart.
I haven't listened
oh my God.
I have not listened. I'm going to save it for
That's
this
a proper
week
inspirational
I
podcast.
can imagine.
Even Joe Rogan was he's just half the time just sitting there going, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Kevin Hart's just...
He's very good at kind of both situations where he can bring the conversation and bring a ton of different topics, but he also, if he needs to, he can just switch off and just listen. Yeah, he's got it down to a T. So
photography.
Yeah, man.
That's your passion. That's what
you
do.
That's why I'm here, because I wondered why you asked me. But then it turns out you were just shot a guest.
Well, I've always followed your photography stuff. Because I've known you for ages, but then when did you start doing photography?
So I started... When will I start? So I've always done it for years. Even when I was a kid and stuff, when like digital cameras, like little compacts and stuff first became a thing, I'd grab one and just like disappear and just take random photos and stuff like that. And then it just kind of grew from there. And then I took a leap and got like my first like bridge camera, which is sort of
not
compact plus.
SLR.
It's not quite the SLR, the DSLR range, but so I grabbed one of those and then started going out, and obviously living around in Cumbria, it's
you've got endless opportunities to take photos.
The natural beauty that everybody comes up here to look at.
So that's what you started taking photos of, like scenery and that.
Yeah, it was all like landscapes and sunsets and sunrises and all the good stuff, and then I kind of went and snowballed from there, and someone asked me to shoot their wedding.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, go on then. So I wasn't going to do it, but I thought, do you know what? Let's just give it a shot and just give it a try. And it's one of the most terrifying things you'll ever do.
There's a lot of pressure in there.
Yeah, it's 100% there is, because you're the guy that has to capture all these moments that they remember in their little heads, and you've got to be, So I did that.
I always imagine it's like that whole effort, all the build up the day, like, well, especially for you, for them to have like one photo on the mantelpiece. For that's about it.
That's it. Is the one photo on the mantelpiece,
or maybe an album that they get once every 4 years or something.
The profile picture that on Facebook that lasts about half, like 6 months, and then that's it.
Then it like changes to like their dog.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Dogs are cool.
But big pressure.
Oh yeah, 100%. So like the first one was immense. Like,
was it someone that you knew?
Yeah, so I knew them anyways. So it was kind of that side of it wasn't too bad.
Well, that could make it worse.
But kind of thing. Also you don't want to, you don't want to burn any bridges, do you?
Yeah, that's true.
So it was awkward, but I learnt a lot in that very first instance, so much. And then at that point, I had bought a DSLR, one of the Canons. It was a 550D, something like that. I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, and then that one went from there. Did 6 or 7 over the time, wedding wise. But every one of them, it's terrifying because you've got landscapes. You can sit there all day. If the sun's not right, or the sunrise or sunset doesn't quite look right, or you miss it. Doesn't matter because you go back tomorrow, it's fine. But you have got one chance of these, the ring going on, the first kiss, the first this, that, and the other,
first
and
dance,
it's
cutting the cake.
There's no hiding behind it. No. So yeah, they were a lot of fun. And then when I got towards sort of the last couple I did, I went and bought a Canon 7D Mark II. So it was like a DSLR body, nice robust camera, we'll call it. Grabbed a couple of lenses, and then I did a couple more, and then I just kind of, I don't know, I lost interest in weddings. They're good fun, and like I say, I learned a lot, especially about photography and low light photography stuff when you're in dank little churches and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's
all useful stuff to know.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then I've always been a huge nerd, comic book geek, whatever you want to call me.
Yeah.
And I started going to Comic Cons about 2013, I think it was.
Right.
And then from there, first year didn't really do a lot. Then the second year I took a camera with me and took a couple of folks' photos.
So have you always been to that sort of stuff?
Yeah. So ever since I was a kid, I've always been in like a massive sort of antisocial nerd. So like the one thing I remember. I don't remember much because my memory is terrible.
I'm in your club.
Yeah. It's an exclusive club. So I remember I was the guy that. Did you at primary school? Did you ever have whether they'd have a charity day, and they'd bring in be like board game day?
Yeah.
So
usually at the end of term.
Yeah. So the sort of last day of term, and everyone brings in a board game, and it's like a group thing. You all play Monopoly or whatever it is, Cluedo,
Mousetrap.
Yes, Mousetrap. What a classic.
Was the other one Hungry Hippos?
Yeah. So everyone brings that in, apart from this guy. This guy doesn't.
You know about Dungeons and Dragons?
No, well, no. Instead, I brought every single Ninja Turtle figure I had. That wasn't the best bit. So I bought all 4 the Ninja Turtles. I brought Shredder. I bought the
Splinter.
Battle Van.
Okay, that.
Not even that. I had a little diorama set. Oh, I keep knocking the mic. A little diorama set with it was like the sewer, the house, and I brought that in.
Wow!
And I'm just sat in the corner playing on my Todd.
You're walking back going.
Yeah, playing fucking Ninja Turtles on my Todd in the corner. And that was at primary school. That is the one, or probably one of the only things I remember from that time in my life, to be honest.
But I think that's quite common with people who gravitate to because all that geeky and nerdy stuff used to be sort of the outsiders, they all want at school. But now there's so many of them, they're kind of not the outsider anymore.
Yeah. So 100%. It used to be. It used to be the minimum, the bare minimum of PR, especially. Growing up when we were kids and stuff, there was very few of us that were kind of into that kind of culture and that kind of side of stuff.
That was like me in heavy metal.
Yeah.
There wasn't many of us.
No. Sat in the corner just thrashing away.
People throwing stuff out.
Yeah. And then, I met a friend and we decided to go to a Comic-Con. About 2013 it was, the first one.
Not that long ago then.
So not really, no.
I suppose they haven't really got that big that long ago.
Yeah, in the UK... in America, they've been huge for years and years and years, but there's 350 million people over there, and it's just a crazy place to be. So we went to one in Birmingham.
That's a big one, isn't it?
It was huge, and like obviously now it's 6 years on and they've just got crazy. Like you say, that culture's skyrocketed, and you know there's always been the comic book movies because you know like the Tim Burton Batman film, stuff like that. You know they've always been about.
But now,
as soon as
like Marvel,
the big change was the Marvel. When those guys got into it and started making movies, that it just became something else.
The nerds and the geeks came out of the woodwork and united.
Yeah. So like that's what it is. And going to Comic-Con, it was kind of that. I found it as a place where I can go and have fun, but it's where you like feel like you fit in.
Like-minded people.
Yeah, because everyone's really like-minded, and the thing is, you just go there and you can have conversations about this, that, and the other. There's folk in cosplay, so that's, you know, folk all dressed up like their favourite characters.
And that,
so you're meeting them and you're talking about this, that, and the other with them, and it's just, I've met some awesome people through it all. And I don't know, for me, it's a place where you just sort of find comfort.
I mean, I must admit, I'm not really into like Marvel comics and the films, not really my thing, but I'm fascinated by the whole movement of it. It's interesting.
It is quite a movement that it has become anyways.
Because they used to have started with like conventions of films, like Star Trek conventions and stuff like that. Even in like the 80s, it sort of changed over the years to be more as a generic group of people who are into general things like that.
Yeah, because it's not just about the comic books side of things, and especially anymore. You know, it's the whole video game culture. There's
video games, the comics, and the movies.
Yeah. So it's a whole like category of just awesome people that you bump into. And
so do you think the films was the last sort of push where it's really went?
I think that's what the catalyst was to make it as big as it is today, especially because it gave the people that were kind of sat on the fence, you know, like the guy sat on his own in the corner playing with the turtles, to it gave them that sort of connection and that sort of, so there probably is other people out there like yourself, and especially when you go to
social media and that, you can't avoid it, can you?
That's the thing. You know, social media is, well, it's the double-edged sword.
Isn't it? Well, for things like that, it's essential.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because that's how other people connect to it. And then they go, next year, I'm going to that sort of thing. Yeah.
And especially when you start seeing people that putting all these effort into costumes and stuff like that.
I was looking at some of your pictures of some of the people. I'm like, they look like they've just walked off the movie set.
Yeah. Some of them
I'm like,
are insane. Everybody puts effort in.
Oh, yeah.
Even what the layman, you'd look at it and you'd think, But I mean, the people they put their time and their effort in to go and do this stuff, and there's people out there that spend hundreds, thousands.
You can tell just by looking at them.
Just to be that character for the day, and that's what it kind of is.
Sweat your ass off for 8 hours.
So sweaty. It is. But like, it's just people get together and they put all these effort into the costumes and they go out there and they just want to have fun, and that's what it's all about. Like, that's what these things are, just having fun, getting to know other people, like-minded people that are into the same stuff, and just like, it's cool. It's really, really cool.
And it's just getting bigger and bigger every year.
And yes,
like we start filling out arenas and stadiums and convention centres.
Yeah, so the biggest one I go to is the company is MCM.
That's the one. Yeah.
Those guys, they run sort of the biggest ones in the country. I don't know.
Something comic.
It might have been movies, comics, and memorabilia or something like that. Once upon a time, I don't know. It just.
I think it probably started off in like a garage years ago.
So I've been to like a few of theirs. They do a huge one in Birmingham. They do a big one in Manchester. Yeah. The biggest one they do is the London one.
Yeah.
And that's in the XL.
Is that the actual Comic-Con?
Yeah. It's at the XL Arena, which is like a big conference hall
That's like one of the biggest.
Yeah, it's huge. They open.
You get a few Fitbit steps when you walk around that all day.
So many. Like, it's absolutely massive, and they've got like both sides of this thing opened up, and there's just like vendor after vendor in there.
Is it a day or a weekend?
So most of the MCM ones are all like weekend events. So it's like Saturday, Sunday.
You have to be really, otherwise you won't be able to do everything.
Well, yeah, because London though it's like a 3-dayer, so there's Fridays chucked in there as well.
Yeah.
So it gives you like a whole weekend.
And those big ones get like some of the actual people from some of the
So a lot of them
franchises.
They'll bring in the celebs, and you can go meet them, and well, it's not for free.
Well, no,
it costs you money to do that.
But that's also another thing that will bring you maybe more casual punter in.
Oh, if you're going to see 100%, 100%. A lot of people just go just to meet their childhood heroes or their adulthood heroes, you know. It's mad. Like I think the guest they've announced for London this year is Sebastian Stan. He's from the Marvel films.
Wow.
He plays the Winter Soldier in those, and like they've just, what did they do? They did like a VIP meet and greet package with him where you get a photo and stuff. It's like 180 quid. Wow.
That's like what bands do now, though,
love
isn't it?
this guy. Yeah, of course. But you know, and a lot of them say, well, you know, it's extra money for them and stuff like that. But a lot of them just go because they love it as well.
Yeah,
you know? At the end of the day, it's their bread and butter. What was I reading about? Robert Downey Jr. this morning, and it was about like the money he'd made from like the Marvel films alone. Like the first Iron Man film, which is probably the best still. I know you don't get it.
Okay,
if anyone's listening that knows me, they get it. And I think he made like $500,000 from that dollars, which is a great chunk of money.
He'll pay the bills.
And then the second film, it jumps to 10 million. It was his contracted amount, and then it just snowballs from there, and it just got bigger and bigger. And it's just like, I wonder if they knew that was going to happen.
Well,
I don't know. It's like we always have this conversation. We were having this conversation at work the other day. It was like, do they know? Like Queen at Live Aid, for instance. Did they know when they went on stage, and did the people that were in the crowd watching it know how just like
they probably realised this is awesome, but I don't think they realised how important what they were watching was.
Exactly, and that's the thing. They probably didn't know.
Have you seen the film?
Yeah, I watched.
Don't know if it's true that just because of they were playing that all these they were running a bit short, and like as soon as Queen started playing, all these calls and done it.
So I thought that as well.
I had issues with that.
It was a bit of a stretch that bit, because it was like it cut to
it really shits on all the other artists as well, doesn't it?
It cut to them beforehand, and it was like, nah, we've had no calls yet. We've had no
money.
We've
made a tenner.
And then as soon as he steps on stage, it's like, oh my god, all the money.
We've made $1 million.
Yeah, that was probably a little bit of a stretch, that one. But
I mean, I forgot to look who'd been on before them, but I mean, come on, there must have been some big acts before them.
I would imagine so, because the whole thing was just full of big acts. Yeah, I watched that movie recently. It's all right.
Are you a big Queen fan? Or?
I mean, the music's pretty great, isn't it?
I was aware of the timeline discrepancies and all that, so I was kind of in advance. So I could put all that aside and just enjoy it as a film.
I think, I enjoyed it as a film.
I'm not a die-hard Queen fan, so
I wasn't really so sure about Remy's
portrayal
accent. No, it was just that was a little bit off-putting.
True, I know what you mean, but overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was alright. It wasn't as good as. Have you seen The Dirt?
No, I've not seen that yet.
Oh, right. So you need to watch that. Is it
in the cinemas?
No, it's on Netflix.
Oh, okay, right.
It's on Netflix. Go watch that.
Right.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the next thing. Like, bands' careers being made into films with.
I think,
it started a thing now, hasn't it?
Well, and especially, like, Netflix are massive players, you know, they get hundreds of millions.
That Queen one is forecast to make as much, or if not more, money from the DVD and Blu-ray sales as it did from the cinema.
That's insane.
That's insane. Well, because they already had the pre-orders before Christmas, just after the film was coming to its end of its run before Christmas, they'd already opened it up for pre-order on DVD. I ordered it in November last year.
Yeah.
And it came out like a month ago or something like that. So it was like millions of people must have done that.
Yeah.
Well, especially people who didn't go to cinema. Thought, I'll just get on.
Well, yeah.
Because we had those two. Did you see that we had those two lads on from Penrith Cinema?
I didn't. No.
That's really good. But like they were saying, like obviously numbers, you still get people who love going to cinema, but people have got such good setups at home now. Like me, when I've got it, I was like 4K TV, got massive sound bars. Like, yes. Yeah. Got some people around. We all watched it together.
Well, that's the thing. Like the home setups have got insane these days, and like obviously it's cheaper beer. It's cheaper everything.
Yeah.
You sit and do it at home.
Yeah.
A couple of mates around. Nobody wants the guy with the popcorn ramming it in his face, sat right next to them, or right behind.
Some kid who won't fucking shut up.
You don't. The big pet peeve when you go to the cinema is if you ever go to one and there's not, it's fairly empty. So you find a seat, you've got a nice view, and the guy comes in. What does he do? He sits right next to you.
It's like the guy in the urinal.
Right in front of you.
When you're in the urinal and he comes pee right next to you.
Yeah,
what the fuck, dude? What?
There's a weird common courtcy there.
It's an unwritten law that
you
you go
as
to
far
the
away
end.
as possible.
If I'm at the left, you go to the right, and then if another guy comes in, he goes in the middle.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
But there's people that I'm going to sit right there.
Yeah. Why?
But yeah, you can't. I still do like go to the cinema.
Yeah,
I always will.
Yeah,
there's something about it.
Yeah,
listen to something on a massive screen that's far too loud. You just can't.
That's the thing. I think that's what it is. It's just being able to have that volume,
like an IMAX.
Yeah. Oh, they're insane.
Me and my mates were already talking about the Star Wars, and I'm like, we're going.
Oh yeah,
we're going to Newcastle IMAX.
In
December.
Yeah,
it's already happening.
Endgame's the big one, but again, you're not into it, so it doesn't matter.
I don't even know what that is.
But yeah, so oh my god,
I've seen most of Iron Man, and I thought it was all right. It's just I've never been into comics. Like I'm not. I don't know if it means I've got a terrible imagination, but I've never been into like novels and fiction. I prefer things like autobiographies or about stories. Novels, books about things that have actually happened.
Yeah, you want real life. Real life. Nah,
like I couldn't. Harry Potter, I don't mind. I couldn't get into Lord of the Rings. That's just too much for me.
Oh, dude. I'm regretting coming on.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.
I don't know. Everyone's different.
Yeah, no, it's like it's fine.
Someone had the book of like the first three. It was about this big. I saw half of the first Lord of the Rings film, and I started to read the book at the same time, just because I was interested. I was like, this is not for me.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't say these things without trying it.
Oh,
I don't just dismiss it.
You've got to try everything once, haven't you?
Especially if something's happening and loads of people are in it. I was like, I want to see what this is all about. But
that's what kills it half the time.
Yeah,
everyone's like, this is the greatest thing ever, and then you watch it and you're like, is it?
Really? I'm not into Game of Thrones. No.
Wow.
That's another thing.
Are you into Game of Thrones?
I like Game of Thrones.
I watched half of the first series. I was like, nah, it's not for me.
Ah, dude.
I must be in the minority.
Yeah, you're like the only person. No, I'm sure.
Honest.
I'm sure there's more of you out
wait
there.
till tomorrow, because all the people who don't watch Game of Thrones will come out the woodwork just to let you know that they don't.
There's a new series about.
So yeah, the new series kicks off.
Is that Netflix or is that Sky?
It no, so it's HBO.
How do you get it over here?
Sky. I think it's Sky.
Atlantic.
Yeah.
It's only on Sky.
Yeah. See, I have that, but I'm not bothered.
Yeah, I think so. It starts tonight. I think it kicks off like 9 o'clock in America. So Sky are airing it live, but at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
So we're not missing out.
Yeah. So
we do miss out on a lot, don't we? It's not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, I don't
remember when like a film would come out like 3 months later or 6 months later.
Yeah, so that's always been the thing. Is like America would get all these great films and that. And it's like
it wasn't such a problem before social media and everyone could just share.
Yeah, that's right.
It was like, I'll just have to wait. I'll just wait.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're missing then, do you?
No, exactly.
But now it's like you're gonna do what?
And then someone spoiled it for you online.
Well, yeah,
and then
that's the other thing. You can't avoid that now.
But so that's the thing with the new Avengers film that comes out at the end of this month. We get it kind of as one of the first. So they've sorry, excuse me. They've managed to do it so like do a worldwide like release
kind of at the
same time, but you can't do it because
some people have to 5 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. So we get it on like Thursday morning. At like
what time?
Midnight. Well, it's Wednesday.
How many people are calling
night.
Sick?
Yeah, so it's Wednesday night. It starts like midnight. So it's like it goes into Thursday, but it's like 3 hours long. So
for one episode
for the one film. Not Game of Thrones.
Sorry.
This is the Avengers again.
Right,
sorry, I'm all over the place.
Right, I got you. The Avengers. Right.
So yeah, 3 hours in the cinema. There'll be loads of folk missing work on that Friday.
Yeah, that's gonna be like. Some people do that with video games as well. Like you used to do it with Call of Duty.
Everyone must remember GTA.
Yes.
The GTA San Andreas when that came out.
Yeah.
All of us missed school just to play that game. So yeah.
I remember for one Call of Duty, it was like one of the first Modern Warfares. Staying up really late to go and get it at the supermarket. coming home. I played for about 10 minutes and I was like, I just fell asleep.
I know, right? I know. Everyone done it. Like, and that's the thing with the games as well, especially these days, when they have all got that big. Like, you'll get them.
I know.
And then they'll try and put the servers on, and then like, nah, we can't handle this. Everybody's trying to get on at the same time.
Did you not think this was going to happen?
So you end up just, I'll just go to bed.
You put the game in. Oh, there's a 78 gigabyte download.
Oh, don't. That's like,
that's terrible.
Why? Stop it.
Why can't it like just all come together?
Yeah, please. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, the games are getting ridiculous now.
Oh, they're insane.
But I've changed. Like, from going from like queuing until midnight, I get the year before's game when the new one comes out.
Yeah, well, that's what I've just done. I've just picked up God of War.
Right. Yeah.
It's been out for like a year at least, anyways. But I was like, well, I don't really want to spend 50 quid on it, so I'll just wait till it's cheaper and get it
out. That's it. The prices have just kind of got silly now. Oh, like if you want like all the good stuff, it's like 70 quid.
Well, that's the thing. They try and like pack all these weird like bits in, and there's this exclusive download for this shirt you can wear in game, and it's like, do I really want to spend 25 quid extra just for that?
For like a shirt?
Like, I ain't spending 25 quid on a shirt to wear in real life. Like,
that's true. Do
you know what I mean?
What's the other game
that
ties in with all the cosplay stuff? World of Warcraft. That's kind of one of them games that had its own sort of universe.
Warcraft's insane.
I never got into that.
I tried to. Well, a couple of friends tried to get me into it a few years ago, and I played it for like 20 minutes, and I
avoided it for fear of getting addicted to it.
I can see where the addiction comes from, but luckily.
Have you seen those videos of like parents taking their internet off, or the kids are like losing their mind?
Yeah, it's mad at the minute because it's like what is it, that Fortnite and these battle royale games? All these doctors are coming out saying you need to stop them playing these games. It's insane. They're all like losing their minds, and they're all
addictive. Not addictive to like some other games, but they were getting shit for being. It's not even that violent because it's all a cartoonish.
Nah, yeah. It's
so
really
they can't even use that one on it.
No.
It's just addictive.
Yeah, it's just
just do better parenting.
I think. All you parents out there,
you can't say that.
Who's the bot? Oh, I haven't got kids, so what do I know? What do I know?
The parents can't be wrong.
No, of course not. It's the makers of the game. It's not the parenting. No,
of course it's not. We all know those.
But yeah,
parents.
World of Warcraft was one of the first ones where I remember seeing people dressed up as the people in it, and all that sort of stuff.
The company behind it, Blizzard, those are the guys that have kind of produced it over the years and years and years and years, and they have like a big event every year. Called like BlizzCon, and that's where
like in San Diego. Or
and they released like new parts of the game and the new DLC and then new games, and that's where like cosplaying for like video games is huge because they all go and they're all these big like fantastical.
Some of the the monsters and the demons and all that.
And there's
ridiculous.
some insane stuff for that.
I wouldn't even know where to begin. Where do people get this stuff to do it? Like someone that looks exactly the same, especially the ones for the movies as well.
Yeah. So the movie one, like if you
like Starship, like the Star Wars, the Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
It's like that looks exactly like the.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. So there's people out there that'll do it themselves, and they'll build like a vacuum forming rig, and they'll make their own stuff. And then there's other guys out there that'll go to people and they'll produce pieces. There's big companies that produce like mass batches of stuff, and they just go out and folk, like I said, folk spend thousands sometimes on these.
Because there's such a demand for it now, companies will start producing the proper stuff so you can do it.
Well, yeah, that's what a lot of them do. A lot of them have got like companies behind them that will produce like cosplay. They'll be like, and they can go to them, and especially like the Star Wars stuff's insane.
Oh yeah. What do you think is the most common thing that you've seen someone dressed as in all the things you've been to?
Oh, there's two. There's two. There's Deadpool.
Oh right.
Deadpool's huge.
That's a fairly recent thing.
With the kind of the addition to Ryan Reynolds bringing the movie out a couple of years ago, that first one. Yeah. Deadpool huge because folk just get into that character because you can essentially funny, it's fun, but you can go there and you can dick about and get away with some shit, and that's why people do it. And the other big one is Harley Quinn.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, Harley Quinn.
You're always going to see
massive.
one of them,
There's those two are like you'll always find them.
Perfect for couples to go as.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Other ones, you must see a lot of stormtroopers.
So yeah, there's stormtroopers. The Star Wars has always got a
Star
big.
Wars, yeah. Star
Marvel,
Trek as well.
Star Trek. There's a few.
Yeah,
there's a few knocking about.
But the Marvel
Star Trek
ones as well. Yeah.
and the Marvel stuff's
I saw some of the. I don't know if it was you took the photos of like people as Iron Man, looking like. They've like nailed it.
Yeah.
Where you just think, how is that even possible? Imagine just like walking down your own street at home, just packet crisps, please.
Yes, of course, Mr. Iron Man.
Yeah, but you laugh, but these things actually happen. So like when we're at these events, like London, for instance, is awesome. Outside the XL, there's a little pub outside it.
But that's fucking hilarious.
And so everybody's there in the evening. Once they've left the convention, they all just go there. But a lot of people are still in cosplay, so you could be having a pint with Iron Man or like some Jedi or it's insane.
Kylo Ren
or
with Iron Man.
They'll nip down to the shops and they'll nip down to Tesco's and go grab a sandwich. It's like, and then like going to and from, you'll see them. So if some people travel there in the morning, they'll be on like fully cosplayed up, just sat on the train.
Imagine the commute. People in like suits going to the office going,
but that's the thing. So everyone there's like staring and going, like, this is really weird. Like, why are you dressed like this? And then as soon as you get to the convention, that's where they can.
You're no longer an outsider.
You're
just
not
like,
the outsider. It is very much like that, and because it's just that open community where you just come, you dress whoever you want to dress.
You ever dress up, or you're always taking photos?
No, I do every now and again, but my
cosplay's
are terrible.
Did you do a grey beard or grey hair?
Yeah, so I've done like John Hammond from Jurassic Park. That's where the grey beard came in.
Yeah.
It's getting that way itself naturally. It's not quite there yet, so I've still got to buy hairspray. So yeah, and I've done like Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles as a throwback to the childhood stories.
Classic.
And the first one I ever did was a X-Man character called Gambit.
Right.
And I found this old like brown coat in this charity shop, this big like trench coaty looking thing. So I was like, I'm gonna do a Gambit cosplay. Just basically put a t-shirt on, a pair of like ladies like workout pants.
Spandex.
And he's got like in some of the comic books, he's got like these like purple like chevrons down his leg. I was like, how am I gonna do that? I've not got a sewing machine, so I just bought another pair in purple and just cut some holes in the side of them. Right. And then he's like got these epic like boots, these like knee-high boots with like this. I could just imagine one of my friends just laughing about this.
You not got a photo of this?
I don't think I have. Not on this phone. I'll have one somewhere.
Not online somewhere?
It might be somewhere, but it would probably take a minute to find. I should have had it ready. So the boots. Hilarious. I was like, what am I going to do for the boots? I ain't spending too much money, so I went to Discount Shoe Zone, God rest its soul.
Yeah.
And I bought a pair of wellies for like £6. This is the best bit, because in the comics they're silver, right?
Oh God!
Instead of just using spray paint,
you tin foil, did you?
No, I covered them in duct tape.
How long did that take?
Like fucking about an hour and a half. I covered them in duct tape, mate, and it was so funny. So I do it, but I'm not like. This is why I'm behind the camera.
Yeah, we need to you need to dig this out. Even afterwards,
I will find it.
This is going out straight first thing tomorrow, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll still put it out.
We'll find it. I'm sure I've got a photo of it somewhere.
Just imagine you but there's no give because you put so much on. You're like walking like Iron Man, like.
There was no give for about 20 minutes, and then they just fell apart. He's got like a bow staff as well, so it's like. I was like, how am I gonna do that? So I was like, I can't really use like a mop handle because it's a bit dangerous, isn't it? So I ended up getting the copper pipe insulation, and it come in like these 2 meter lengths. But they come in packs of 2, so I just stacked them and wrapped them in more duct taped them up, and had this big floppy fucking bow staff.
The thing that falls to pieces before you even get there.
Yeah, so that's the best thing. I wore that to Birmingham the first time, And that was the best thing, was getting the train on the way home, because I lived like nearby at the time, so I just got the train, and I'm there with this bow staff like stuck down the back of my top, gambitted up. I had like a ski mask that I'd cut the top out of so I could have my hair coming out of it, and I was there. But so the NEC, the site in Birmingham, it's that big. They have like 4 or 5 different events on at the same time. So there's like a motorbike show on, and it must have been November time, because there was like a Christmas fair one on as well. So there's all these families and that with bags of like Christmas toys, and then there's me stood in this like weird janky ass duct tape man.
I just had a thought. Can you imagine the contrast of like how amazing people look on the way there versus the train on the way back?
Oh yeah. The train on the way back, so yeah, everyone, and then by that
time falling apart and like
it's all trashed, and folk are just like zonked.
Iron Man just becomes Dave from Doncaster.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, one of the things is like you must see like some awesome costumes, but you must see some pretty horrendous attempts as well, which are just as funny.
No comment. Yeah, no, I'll give it to people. People put heart in. We'll say that. We'll be nice.
Because I wonder if some people have like, especially if it's their first time, don't realise the level that other people are going to go to. So they go thinking, oh, I look pretty sweet. And they get and they go, I'm going home.
Yeah, there is a lot of that. But
it's still a community. Everyone's happy though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Folk tend not. Everyone's just really nice. Like, well, I say that. There's probably some, and there's some terrible people out there.
Well, there's alcohol there, so there's always going to be.
That's the other thing as well. So there is some terrible folk there, but generally, we're all a fairly nice community and accepting however people want to cosplay, no matter if they've bought it themselves, made it themselves, got someone else to make it, gone to a charity shop and just bought a load of stuff in. Like, whichever way they do it, like,
all good.
They've put their stuff in. So it's great. And that's the one thing about it being that community is it's weird, because like, so you go for a night out, they're not the same as they used to be. We all know this. But you go for a night out, and you probably eventually, you'll have a bit of a conversation with someone else at the bar or whatever. But you won't really sit down and have a conversation and get to know somebody like you would.
Like this.
And that's what this offers. When you're there, you'll just go up and talk to people. If they're in some, especially some franchise,
you're all on
the
same team.
Yeah. So it's huge. It's just like, it's just one big like club, and it's just awesome. It is awesome.
What is like the average price of a ticket for a
Right,
con?
so ticket prices, they vary, man. There's the big ones that we're talking about, but there's loads of little ones throughout the UK all the time. So, the smaller ones, you can go for like £5 for the day. Some of the bigger ones are like MCM. I think your weekend ticket for Birmingham was £30, I think.
That's not bad.
So like 2 days, it's not bad. A lot of people were mourning because this year the London one went up again. I think it's like 68, 69.
For the full weekend?
69. 70 quid for the full weekend. We'll call it 70 quid, right?
I thought you were going to be in the hundreds already.
Yeah. So my point is, everyone's like, well, it's really expensive and that. My point is, well, yeah, but if you break it down at like 20, we'll call it 25 quid a day.
Yeah.
And you're looking at from sort of averagely like 9 till 5. It's a good value for money to go and be with your people, as it were.
And also, if you want it to be better every year, that's part of it.
Yeah, massively.
It's like totally predictable that it's going to go up in price.
I mean, what's the price for an average gig in the UK these days?
And how much are they going to have to pay, like the VIPs to be there?
Yeah.
If they want bigger every year, they want bigger. They have to pay more bucks.
Yeah.
So they've got to charge more.
That's the thing. It's swings and roundabouts,
like,
but like I think it's really good from
like downloads like 100 and
120. What's
40,
your weekend
quid?
ticket for like Glastonbury and stuff like that? It's expensive.
A lot more.
And there's no hotel price,
No,
but it's still. I mean, it's cheap enough. I think it's really good value for what you get out of it.
But also the money that people spend on them. Obviously, you can buy merch and that there, can't you?
Yeah. So there's merch stalls there. There's traders there selling stuff from like comics to toys and stuff, and like
figures.
The statues, stuff like that. And then you've got what they do is a lot of them have like artist tables and stuff like that where they'll do their own artwork for different fandoms.
Yeah.
And there's comic book artists there as well that have worked on big titles and then independent comic book artists. There's like a really big varied thing, and folks spend so much money normally when they're there just buying whatever takes their eye.
Yeah, I'll bet. So go on.
Well, I was going to say is it's almost as if it's like the annual holiday.
Yeah.
For us, we don't.
Well, it's like people
I don't.
Music fans with Download or Glastonbury or Bloodstock.
It's exactly
every
that.
Annual event.
So most people are prepared and they'll save the money to go do it and just go and have a fun. You can still go do it. Only, you can get a day ticket. I think for London, I can't remember what it is. I think it's like 20-something quid, 22 quid, something like that. Yeah. Maybe. Don't hold me to that.
Well, they'll probably price it so it's cheaper to buy the weekend. Yeah. But still.
But even at 20 quid, it's 20 quid. If you live close enough, it's a good day out. Yeah. And you can go do it for,
If you absolutely love that stuff, you can't really put a price on it.
No, you can't.
It's like people used to complain when all the big bands started charging like 90 to 100 quid for like stadium gigs, but like, that's just the price. That's the top end these days. That's what it is.
Exactly.
If it's too much for you, don't go.
Yeah.
Go and see smaller bands at smaller venues and then shut up.
Stop downloading their music illegally and maybe the tickets will be cheaper.
Oh, don't get started on that. Well, have you got any, like, what's some of your favourite photos that you've taken?
You can't ask me that. That's like my favourite children.
Is it?
No.
You must have the odd photo that you like.
There's...
When you capture a specific moment or something, you go...
There's a few moments that have been, like... the best ones that I find come off when you meet the right people. Because there's people that are confident in what they are wearing and confident as a person. There's people that are a little bit more timid and shy, so you've got to adapt to however people are sort of are as a person. But when you meet the right person and you just start bouncing ideas off each other and just go and have fun with it, that's what it's all about. So like there was the con I was at last week, another weekend before, I went over to Gateshead. She's there in this like Batman character, and she's got like a chain. Most people bring prop stuff. Yeah, she brings a real fucking chain. And then we went, took some photos. We found little woods at the back, took some photos there. Come back down. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be great if you'd like choking folk out with the chain? She was up for it, and we're like, there was another guy there that we knew. He'll be up for it. She ended up like having all these photos, wrapping chain, like an actual bit of chain,
not a plastic
round folks' necks, just having these photos taken. It's just fun like that. That's what it's all about. Like, I would say to be the diplomatic answer would be my latest photos are better because every day, every time I pick the camera up, I'm always learning. Yeah, you never, you can act like the master all you want, but it's difficult to get there.
I suppose you develop a knack of just going, and this situation, someone comes up and I'll take loads. Yeah, there'll be some gold in there.
Well, that's the thing, and that's where it differs from that wedding style, because you'd be there and you'll have 5 or 10 minutes with somebody and you can get a load of photos, and you're always gonna get some that are crap. I don't care what you say. You're always gonna get some that are rubbish.
I always see I always compare photography a bit to like musicians where a band will do cover gigs on the side because they pay more. That'll help them do stuff for the real stuff that they want to do. Like you could do weddings because it does pay quite well, but that allow you to like buy better equipment or travel to further places to do other stuff that you want to do.
You always need the grind. There's always the grind in there, and there's the stuff that you'd be like, well, I don't really want to do this, but
needs must.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it all revolves around that money, doesn't it?
So what would be ideal in the photography world? What would be ideal sort of job?
That's a great question. I would say probably, I don't think there's a specific job out there, but if I could have a place or, have a big enough sort of business where people come to me, have photos, and I can make that my living, that would be the dream.
Like, say you became an official Comic-Con photographer, that kind of thing, or...
Yeah, maybe. See, this is always the catch-22 with it, because I love taking photos, because I love just the effort and time that people put into these outfits and these costumes, and for them to be able to share that on in well, hopefully it's a good way.
Yeah, I think so.
In that way, and they can share on and get them and put that on my way, 'cause I'm gonna knock it over. At least it's empty now. Yeah. So if they can share those images and get that out there, then it's just great for me to see
gives
that
you a buzz.
and see it. Yeah, it really does, especially because you're always your own worst critic, aren't you?
Oh, always.
Like, I don't care what horrible, nasty comments you'll ever get online about anything you ever put on there, but you're always one step ahead of them every time. So, like, but then when people start sharing it and reacting to what you've done, it's the best thing ever, isn't it? Best. Yeah. It is the best.
So what else would you like to get into?
Well, I've done little bits and pieces in the photography world anyways. I haven't specifically I've had one sort of job in that world, and I went and joined a cruise ship as a cruise ship photographer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was, what an experience.
I bet it was. How long ago was this?
It'd be a couple of years ago at least now. Yeah. Maybe 2.5, something like that. I joined this cruise ship, ended up on there, met some awesome people.
I'll bet, yeah.
Had some amazing time.
Because it's not the sort of thing where you meet people and then you go your separate ways. If you meet people and you're with them for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, so you're with them all the time. The way the cruise ship works is you're working like all the time, and then you sleep, and then that'll be it. And you maybe get a few hours off here and there, but generally you are always at work, and you spend all this time with everybody there, and then you meet all these other people from all around the world that are working on the ship, and you just end up having the best times ever.
That sounds awesome.
But in like mad places. So the first cruise I went on, we went to Norway and went to the fjords in Norway, and I was like, this is amazing. How the hell have you managed this? Because you go to sleep on the ocean and you wake up the next day and you step outside and you're like, holy. It's like, we got some hills around here, but they are nothing. You like the cruise ships are huge, right? So you don't really get a feel for them until you've been and stood next to one, and then you're like, oh, Jesus. So yeah, you wake up and there's just this huge rock face staring down at you, and you're like, this is awesome. So yeah, that was fun, intense, but that was.
What was the sort of did they give you strict instructions of what, like as a photographer, what you had to do?
So yeah, a lot of it was sort of there was different elements to it all. So in the evenings we'd have, especially like the gala evening and stuff like that, because it was like a British ship, so they still did that like formal gala evening, black tie kind of events.
You'd be doing. So
yeah, it was a lot of it was like portrait photography and stuff like that. Okay, but then it was one of P&O's new ships, so they had like the James Martin guy, that chef guy. He'd had a hand in it, and they built like a cookery school on there. So you'd go and you'd take photos of folk doing that, and like different stuff that they could do on the ship. There was some where you'd go out with the people on the tours for the day, and you'd take them, oh my God. You'd take photos of them, going out and experiencing wherever you were in the world. It was kind of cool. So there was loads of different elements to it. And then obviously you were there, and if you were lucky enough to be off while you were in port, then you just go in and you're just doing like your own stuff, and you just go and shooting like.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was quite the experience.
Was there much of an application process for that? Did you have to, was it?
So I sent an email off. They wanted a few examples of my work. Sent that off. Had to go to London for an interview. No, I didn't. Went to Southampton for an interview.
Even further.
Yeah, really far from where we are. And then, I got a phone call back, and they were like, yeah, come join us.
Was there quite a few photographers there then?
Yeah, so I think there was a team of like 7 of us in total, I think.
Right. So that each photographer said, you're going to focus on this and you're going to focus on that? Or
yeah, so you'd get set up, and you'd get like, so in the evenings, we'd have like the gala events, but we'd have like 3 or 4 different sort of stations set up. So one would be like just a sort of plain background. One would have like, I don't know, a specific part of the ship in it. There was like a big chandelier-y thing in the middle. So that was like the focal point in the background. So there was like sort of different areas, and you're there for like 4 hours, and you're shooting, and you're just taking loads of photos. It wasn't the most creative you could be.
I was going to say, did you learn anything?
I mean, yes, I did. You still learn, but it was more you set. Your settings are.
You're taking the same sort of photos.
It's the same sort of thing, all the time, every time, and you'll have, I think that first cruise we went on was like a week. and we did like 2 formal events.
Right.
But it was the same thing, just the same people, just in different outfits. And then they get off, and then the next one comes, and then you just start again.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, it was a bit sort of limiting in that way, but I still learned a lot. And it was, it was good. It was hard work, but it was good fun.
So going back to what you were saying before, would you ideally like to have like your own, like say up here, set up your own studio where you could have people come to you for like photo shoots and stuff like that?
I think eventually, that would be, cool. It would be the goal to have, but the problem is everything's like really expensive though, isn't it? To have like a permanent place to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
It would kind of be a bit costly, but like I would love to have a studio one day and just be taking folks' photos.
But some of them, I've been to a few for various things, and the prices can vary. So if you get your prices right, you can, once you get set up, you can make your money back.
Oh yeah, 100% you can. There's plenty of options out there. It's just I'm just enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. That's what I was going to say.
How old are you?
33.
Really old. Just a young pup.
Really old.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
I can't remember now.
That's a terrible memory.
I know. I told you.
But like having your own place eventually. But for now, you're happy doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm happy doing. Oh, that was it. So the crux of kind of, say you became an official one of the MCM photographers.
Yeah.
You're there, but you're at work. So the crux of it is, like, I love going to these events to take photos of everybody in their awesome costumes.
Yeah.
But I also want to have fun myself.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't want to turn it into a job as such there.
Not enjoy it as much.
Yeah. So, because, you know, I've over the last sort of years, probably I've started to really focus on this stuff and like try and be more active on social media, like Instagram and stuff like that, because it's quite hard to build a following.
Yeah, you just got to keep putting the awesome photos up.
But you just got to be
you just got to keep
consistent.
Content.
Yeah.
Hashtags.
So I've noticed over the last, probably since the beginning of this year, the followers, I've increased the followers, and that's just through just getting photos up like daily, getting them out there, interacting with people on there, and you just kind of build it from there.
The other thing with photographers is, though, obviously you take loads of photos, so you can always go back and pull stuff out.
Yeah.
So you think, sometimes you forget, that's quite good, and then go, here's one from a year ago, 2 years ago. Look at this.
So I use kind of Facebook as the album holding ground, so that's where you chuck everything up.
Yeah.
So folk can tag their friends and you can share it on there. And then Instagram, it's not really very good for that, so it just gets, you know, I'll try and get as much as I can, but I've always got there's hundreds of photos I've got from cons from years. So you just start chucking them up, and
but your back catalogue kind of becomes something you can use.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's great for Instagram, just using it, because you can just go, I'll use that. Or if you know you've got an awesome shot, especially if the Star Wars news got announced this weekend. You know, if you've got some Star Wars pictures, get them up and get it tagged now.
Yeah,
because
that's what people are searching for.
The hashtags are building, so it's just about being adaptive on social media.
Playing the game, isn't it?
It is, even though the reach is a little bit.
Yeah, you just got to keep going. As your followers gradually go up, so will the reach.
100%. It's.
I don't believe that you need to promote all your posts. Like some people spend loads of money on that.
I know, right?
Like,
so I did it well, right? So I got an email off Instagram a few weeks ago, and they were like, "Oh, here's a 30 quid voucher for promotion." And I was like, "All right, I'll use it." Put it on a post and got like a ridiculous amount of likes and stuff on it, and I was like, well, that's great, but are you just teasing me? Because if I spend £30 on the next post, is it going to do as good?
No.
Probably
did
not.
You get many new followers from it?
I did actually, probably got 100 or so followers out of it, or close to anyways.
It would maybe be worth doing that once every 6 months.
Once in a blue moon, but I wouldn't want to put like every post just chuck money at it, because I think it would be a bit
seems to me
insane.
you've just got to be consistent.
Yeah, I feel like, especially to grow on Instagram, I feel like that's definitely,
because if you're busy and you're doing stuff, just keep putting stuff out of what you're doing, basically, and it'll just and as long as you label things and hashtag things properly, it kind of takes care of itself. Some people are a bit too desperate to get going. I think you should just, especially if it's something that you love what you're doing, just have fun doing it. Just put it out there.
Like I'm not that big on how many followers I've got or how many likes this, that, and the other's getting, because I enjoy it.
Yeah, and you're also competing with like a million other people doing exactly what you're doing. So
billions of other people. So you just
it is a crowded market.
Oh, 100%.
But
you find me a market that isn't crowded today.
Exactly.
Though. It's impossible. Like everyone's out there doing.
That's why whatever you're doing, if you put a lot of time and effort into it, make sure you fucking love it.
Oh yeah. Well, as long as you find something you love, then just roll with it.
If you've already got an inbuilt passion for it, then it's not doesn't take that much.
100%. You just find something you've got a passion in and just go do it. Just do it.
Look. Are there any other photographers who you've actually like enjoys their photos?
Oh yeah. There's many out there that are like, oh, you guys are good. I'm like the kid on the playground wearing the beat up hand me down fake Adidas trainers.
Oh, I was going to ask, what is your setup? What's your gear at the moment that you use? Like it probably won't mean much to us, but other photographers out there.
Yeah, so I have got my main jam is the Canon 7D Mark II. I've kept hold of it all these years. That is it's a beast of a camera, and the lens I'm using on it is the nifty 50, which those out there that know what I mean. Yeah, it's 50mm 1.8 aperture, so it is just great at cons because it's like really small. It's only like ear big, so you can stick it on your camera, carry it around all day. Because if you're at these cons all day, you don't want to be lugging around like the biggest.
Oh yeah.
The biggest.
Some of them bags are massive.
Yeah. Oh mate, the ones that get me are those insane lenses, like the shoot the football and the rugby with.
The paparazzi ones as well. They're like far out.
Like
traffic cone.
So bigger and bigger.
It's like what is this? Like you ain't walking around a con shooting with that.
Like, you're like looking at his watch. Oh, it's 3:10.
Yeah.
From like 4 miles away.
I know, right? Yeah, it's insane. So yeah,
that would not be fun. That would not.
No, it definitely wouldn't. You would put your back out easily, especially at this age.
So have you got a variety of lenses that you can just whip out?
Yeah, I've got a couple of lenses, but I change them every now and again at cons, depending on the situations. The lenses, especially the ones I've got, are just situational. But 9 times out of 10, I can chuck the 50mm lens. It's a prime lens, so it's not got a zoom like on it. Right. You have to zoom with your body, as in move closer or further away.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. So I just tend to leave that on and just go, and I know I'm going to get some like crisp shots with it. The body itself is great, but the lens is where you want to invest in.
They're expensive though, aren't these lenses? I remember Sabrina throwing out some prices. Like, wow.
Some of them I've got. There's one I've got that's really expensive. But the beauty is though, this little nifty 50, it's like 90 quid. 90 quid. It's a great little lens.
Yeah.
Great.
You got a wide angle?
Yeah.
Do you do much with that? I know some photographers are like, not so keen.
So like the fisheye stuff.
Kind of. But
yeah. See, I've got a wider angle, but I don't really use it.
I get the argument. Some photographers say, yeah, but I hardly ever use it. So it's really not,
see, the thing at cons is normally there's somewhere you go where it's going to be closed, tight, like spaces, so you'd need it. But a lot of them, there's always like a lot of the MCM ones have always got somewhere outside, and you probably want to go outside because it's like natural light's better lighting anyways to shoot with. Yeah, so you're better off just nipping outside, go and finding some kind of backdrop that you can shoot against, and just go out there, and then you've got all the space in the world. Yeah. So I don't really tend to.
I saw one photo you might took. I don't know if it was maybe just on your phone, but you were at the NFL.
Oh, that was on my phone. The pano.
Yeah. It is good.
That was.
I do that on my phone.
The phones are great.
I only like last year realised that I thought that when you put on panoramic, you had to do the full.
No. You could just do like even a little bit.
I accidentally did it a little bit. I thought, oh my god, you can make like a normal picture a little bit wider.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
The abilities that you've got with phones these days are
incredible.
Insane. Yeah. Insane. Like, especially you pull it out of your pocket, you open the camera up, and you shoot with it, and it does it automatically.
On mine, Samsung, some of the close-up ones of like a flower or a cherry. or something. Like, bloody hell!
Oh, they've got insane, and a lot of it's to do with like the software as well. That's in them.
Yeah.
And that's. You can just get some fantastic stuff. The best stuff is like the shooting slow-mo videos.
Oh yeah, I've done that with my dogs. You chuck a treat in the air, like it goes.
If you
see
ever
all the slobber coming off its face, going, or one dog elbowing the other dog out the way.
if you ever want to make a video look good, just chuck it, slow it down. It makes everything look good. So people may know him. He's been on the Incredible Potato Man, Tim.
Yep.
He. I shot him a little slow-mo video of him the other day on his trike with his Union Jack flag. And my mum is sat on Facebook. She's like, oh, what's Tim put on today? She's having a look at it. She's like, what? She's going, bloody hell, look how slow he's going.
Such a mum thing to say.
Yeah, proper mum thing to say. I was like, Mum, no, that's the point.
Imagine how long it would take him to serve potatoes.
I know, right? Yeah. I was just like, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but things like when you get someone to go, blah, 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 but slow it down,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
hilarious. Oh, dogs as well for that
Dogs
one.
are great in slow-mo, yeah. Everything looks better in slow-mo.
So I came across an Instagram one that it's a professional photographer who's started a separate thing of animals where he'll like take a photo, he'll throw stuff up in the air and he'll like capture the dogs.
Oh, I need to follow this account.
Or dogs with stuff in their mouth trying to do other things. Hilarious. It's just the
dogs are the best, man.
Their facial expressions are just, you can't beat it.
Nah, you cannot. The best ones are dogs with big sticks trying to get through small holes.
Yeah, like, a gate.
Yeah.
And they're like, sometimes they figure it out, but sometimes they're just like, and then...
I'm just going to keep trying. It's like the metaphor for life, innit? Just keep ploughing through that hole and one day...
Or sometimes quit while you're behind.
Yeah, or just leave the stick and fuck off.
But have you got what is your plan? Like, have you planned this year out? Have you got like events that you're going to?
So yeah, so I go to as many Comic Cons as I can because like they are my jam. Yeah. So I love going to them. Some I'll go to and I'll just go and I'll end up talking all day and not take any photos.
I was gonna ask, do you talk to other photographers?
Yeah, bits and pieces. Yeah, I've got
like because you'll see official photographers while you're at them as well.
Yeah, so I mean there is some the official ones, but a lot of it is just people like me that just go and just love it.
Because anybody can just take a camera.
Yeah, exactly. You just go.
You don't have to have like a permit or a.
Nah. Just go and just as long as you've got respect for the people you're shooting with. Yeah, so like you know, there's some out there. You'll go, you'll ask, you'll be polite about it. Yeah. There's some out there that will just take creepy photos for no reason other than them being creeps. Yeah. So
but some of the like the professional. Other like official photographers, you're like, oh, what gear's he using?
Yeah. There's a little bit of gear envy, but you just gotta be like, wow, it's different styles, isn't it?
It is.
It's different styles.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing with everything. You know, there's plenty out there where you're like, well, this band's better than the other band, but it's like, well, it depends what mood you're in, really, doesn't it?
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, there's styles out there for everybody, and you just got to go do your own thing and just go and. If you want to take photos at events like that, just grab your camera, just go to them.
Anyone can do it.
And just start asking folk. Yeah. And most people love it, especially the cosplayers, because they've spent so much on these outfits.
They want the photos.
They want as many photos as they can.
Yeah.
And there'll be some, there'll be some out there that they'll love a specific style that you shoot in or the way you edit or whatever you want to do. So, and they'll love it. So they'll lap it up. So most of them are really nice. Just don't ask them when they're sat down.
Having a burger
having some food. Leave them alone.
They're like celebrities are that way. Don't bother when they're eating. Just wait till after.
But the people that do, it's like, oh, please, just leave them alone. But we're all guilty of it, especially with celebrities.
Well, that comes with the territory, really, doesn't it? Like, I wouldn't bother someone if
I remember when we were kids, I remember we were on holiday in like Tenerife, and we walked past this restaurant. We weren't eating there. And fucking Nige Ben, Frank Bruno, sat having breakfast.
Wow, that's a power breakfast right there.
Yeah, I know, right? Me nan, just like, let's go get some photos with these. So we ended up going, bothering them through the breakfast, got photos with him, shook his hand, like, so I was like 7 or some shit, putting this tiny little hand in Frank Bruno's massive face, and I was like, this is insane.
Have you met many celebrities in your time?
I think that was the only 2.
Oh, right.
Nah, I haven't met. So I don't really meet any at the cons.
No,
because it's quite expensive.
Yeah, it's a paid privilege.
It is a paid privilege. So I've never spent any money at a con to meet anyone, but I have bumped into my one sort of saving grace was the all-time my favorite director, which is Kevin Smith. Silent Bob.
Oh, right, yeah.
Did we talk about that before the mics went on? I can't remember. Anyways.
I think it maybe was.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Well, we all should have wrote that one down, shouldn't we? Anyways, so he started like making movies again, and he made a film called Red State. a few years ago, and he, instead of selling it to some big studio house, he just went, I'll take it out on my own. So he took it out and toured it himself, essentially. He toured it all around the States, and then he brought it over here and took it out, and he essentially played the show at certain venues around the UK, and then did like a Q&A afterwards. So watched the film, it was great. The Q&A was like 10 minutes afterwards, so I was like, I'll just nip to the loo. Went to the toilet, come out, and he's standing there waiting to go back in. And then it was like some other lass had asked him for a picture, and I was like, I'm going to do it. So I walked over, and then I just went, whew. I forgot what words were. Like,
your name.
Yeah, I forgot everything. And I like fumbled my phone out of my pocket, like opened the camera up, and I just kind of stood there, and like luckily his like PA at the time, obviously you've seen this shit before, and just went,
some trembling idiots.
yeah, and just went, do you want me to take a photo for you? And I was like, so when grabbed the photo, didn't say nothing to him,
shaking next to him,
took a photo with him, and then went, thanks, love you, and then walked back in the thing. It was brilliant. But yeah,
did the photo come out? Do you look like an idiot on it?
Photos there, of course I do. I look like an idiot in every photo.
A terrified idiot.
This is why behind the camera you can't look like an idiot behind it.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think that's my only celebrity story I've got.
That was kind of like sprung on you. You weren't prepared for that one, were you?
I wasn't. But yeah, I love that guy.
But it's different. I don't know. It is an awkward situation because it also depends who it is and how famous they are. And
100%.
If it's someone who you know who they are, but you're not that a fan of what they do, but you think, oh, should I get a photo of this person just because it's a famous person? Or if it's someone like you absolutely love, that's the
thing. That's the thing. I remember there's one con, MCM went through this phase a couple of years ago where they were getting in the guy, you know, that Sean guy from Storage Wars.
Oh yeah, the
bald guy.
Yeah.
Right. So they went through this weird phase. I don't know what they were doing at the time, but he was on, and they'd have like the one guy. He looked like Fat Elvis, like Jesse Kid. He was one of the like antagonists of the show.
Yeah.
And they were walking him through the con. He must have been going for a break or whatever, and I give him a fist bump. So that's another one, I suppose.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anyone famous?
No one mega famous. I've met a couple of darts players.
Eric Bristow?
I met him actually.
That's about the only one I know. Phil the Power Taylor? I'm just throwing out names that I know.
No.
Who's that Dutch one who's just retired?
Just retired?
Has he just retired?
Van Barneveld.
Has he just retired or something? He was on the news for somewhere.
Could have.
You're talking about darts right now. I'm like listening to a foreign language.
No, they're literally the only darts players I've ever heard of.
I've not really met any big famous people. I've walked past famous people without knowing them, but I walked past Nemanja Vidic once.
I checked it out on Keanu Reeves in Florida a few years ago.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh no! I suppose if we're going down that road, then I went to Disneyland and met like loads of Disney characters. Does that count?
I met Iron Man.
I got
Pocahontas.
Got Buzz Lightyear's signature. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's about it. I think. Saw Helen Skelton once at Town in Mayday. Does that count?
It does round here, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah. But imagine if, have celebrities ever gone dressed up as themselves? And
so there's a few instances.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston did it once at a Comic Con.
Yeah.
But he had like a rubber mask on of himself in Breaking Bad.
Oh, when
so he was walking around.
Thing.
Yeah, it was just like a rubber mask of that character.
That's brilliant.
In the clothes. And then later on, he went up to the desk at the front for the presentation. And he took off the mask and it was him, and everyone was like, "Whoa!"
I bet there's loads of the crowd going, I was talking to him before, I didn't even realise it was him.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a handful that do it. Yeah, Cranston's one. I think Mark Ruffalo, the guy that plays the Hulk now in the Avengers movies, pretty sure he's done it.
That would be brilliant.
Mark Hamill's done it. Luke Skywalker, he's been, and there's a guy. He's not. I suppose he is kind of in the movie world. There's a guy called Adam Savage, and you'll know him from the show Mythbusters.
Yeah,
he was the little like loud one.
Right.
And he's so they used to, him and the guy that were on there, Jamie, they used to work for ILM. So for the prequel Star Wars films, they did a lot of the prop stuff and like stuff like that. But he's like a huge nerd, and he builds all these elaborate costumes, and he built like a full like Chewie like Chewbacca hair monster suit. He like builds all these, and he does it where he goes out to Comic Cons and he'll like make like a sort of secret cosplay, and he'll just go and wander about because they can wander about and be everybody else without everybody else knowing who they are, you see. So
they'll find out afterwards and go, fuck's sake.
Mother. Yeah. So there's a few that do it.
Have you got like a bucket list of things that you want to do? Maybe I was going to say photography, but in life.
That's a deep question, isn't it, Mark?
Sometimes we go deep here. Sometimes. Have you got?
The plan, what I really want to do this summer, I've got hold of a van, little box van, little like Vauxhall Peugeot box van. I don't know much about vehicles. Essentially, what I'm going to do is kit the back out with a bed and a little bit of like storage and that, some water and stuff. And I'm going to go and have a look at Europe for a little bit in the summer, hopefully. Hopefully,
that's awesome.
I can pull that off.
That's a good idea.
So there'll be plenty of photos from that trip. I'm sure there will. And to go to some mad like cons in international cons, some cons in Europe. So we did we've done one, and this is a story. This one. So my sister's last year got me a ticket for this Comic-Con cruise. Right. So it was based out of Hull, and it was going over to Rotterdam for a con.
That's a cool present.
So wicked. It was only like 90 quid as well. I was like, this is great. So you jump on the cruise ship. It was a ferry essentially.
Yeah.
And then you go over. You spend a day at the con. You get back on the boat for the night, and then you go home.
Yeah.
That's what was supposed to happen. But the Beast from the East turned up, didn't it?
Oh.
So I was supposed to be meeting my mate in Hull on the morning of the departure.
Yeah.
Then the snow all happened. Their car broke. Because of the snow, their car broke. Like, Summit had frozen over and wouldn't come back to life. So I was like, I'm going to have to come and get you, Anna. And they were like, well, you don't have to. I was like, no, I'm going to have to. Because we've been looking forward to this for ages.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the same on your own, would
it?
They
lived in Birmingham.
Oh.
Right? So I had to drive all the way to Birmingham, which is like a 3-hour, if you're lucky. But I've got like the M6 curse. Every time I'm on that road, I will get delayed regardless. So it ended up being like a 5.5-hour trip to their house. But they were covered in snow as well, weren't they?
Oh, no.
So to get from their house to get to like the M40 or whatever it was, so we could get across to Hull, instead of being like 25 minutes, took us like 3 hours.
Oh,
because it was snow. Like, I'm going to be honest, I shouldn't have set off because it was torrential snow.
Yeah.
Like, I should not have been driving. I do apologise, but everything worked out. So we ended up driving to Hull, which then took like another 5 hours.
Jesus.
We got a hotel for the night, stayed in Hull, went and had this wicked time on this. Like, it was awesome. We just met loads of people.
Yeah.
But the weird thing was, it was like, because obviously it was just on like a normal ferry though.
Yeah.
So there wasn't just the Comic-Con people going.
Oh, right. You were
like,
mixed with all the
there was like truckers and like just dudes that work in Europe and stuff.
Very
so it was kind of a little bit mad. Yeah, it was a little bit mad, but that was kind of fun. But it was a bit mental.
That sounds awesome.
And we ended up getting pissed on the one night with one of the artists that worked on the like first season of the Mighty Boosh.
All right, cool.
Can't remember his name. But yeah, that was
that
pretty
Beast
cool.
from the East, man. That was literally a year ago.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was last Easter.
Yeah, it was.
Because I just got a dog, and I was just like thinking, dogs don't think like this all the time.
It's not a dog. It was.
But,
that was a mad time.
That caused chaos all over the place.
I know,
it?
right?
It just like came from nowhere.
But we just, because it rarely happens that we get that much of it. We're just like, we don't really need to prepare then, fuck it, do we?
London get a couple of flakes and there comes to a standstill.
That's what I mean. And then you see like videos and photos of them like people in Canada and stuff, and they're just
live like that all the time.
Snow like this high, and it's like, what?
It's the only other place I've ever been where the snowplow got stuck when I was in Canada. It's like, nah, I give up. But we had like it was a few feet of snow, and then the next day the winds came and blew all the snow off the fields into all the. So you got like huge. Like
there was
snow dunes.
I
don't know what you call them.
Drifts. I think they're called
just
drifts
walking up and down like this.
Snow
Stood
dunes.
like 6 foot off the ground on top of a pile of snow. Just going, this is amazing.
Yeah, it was mad. That was a mad time.
I can't remember.
And then like this winter's been like the warmest winter anyone's ever had.
But I don't know. So have you ever had to like work with other photographers on things, or have you always been a solo guy?
I've always been a solo guy. But I say that, but like, so we kind of work closely. I've got a couple of mates that I know that do photography that go to cons.
Yeah.
But specifically, they'll like some of them do videography as well. So they'll make like wicked like cosplay music videos and stuff like that. The best thing to do is like work together.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the model to work with one of you for like an hour and then they're knackered and can't be asked to do anything else. So you kind of just like bounce ideas off each other and like you'll just jump in and try and jump out of their shot but also try and get your own shots at the same time, working stuff like that together. It's a really good way, especially just to bounce. The more people there are just chucking ideas out there for different angles and stuff like that, different setups, different ideas, it's really good and really useful.
Do you ever do any video stuff?
I used to, but I haven't really. It'd be something I really want to get back into because I like making videos and that's cool. And I've got a terrible memory, so I'd quite like to like document what I'm doing. So one day I can sit and go, oh man, that was some fun times, wasn't it? Because like in my head, I'm like, I don't remember what I did yesterday, let alone like.
Because you've got a drone.
I have got a drone.
Because I've been to a wedding that you did, and I was like, he's got a drone.
Yeah. So the drone.
I don't think I ever saw the photo that you did of the whole, all of us. Obviously, you sent the drone up, didn't you? And in the big building, you were at the top looking down. I was like, I want to see. I can't wait to see these photos.
I'll show you them later. I've got them.
Yeah.
The drone. I went mad one year, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm just going to buy a drone because it looked really cool. Well, I used to watch a lot of a guy called Casey Neistat on YouTube. Like he makes these amazing like cinematic like fucking masterpieces, but he's like there shooting like New York with these drones.
Yeah, I've been watching all these 4K drone.
Yeah. And so I was like, TV. I'm gonna just buy one, even though I'm rubbish and don't know what I'm doing with it. So I bought one, and I've had a bit of a play with it, and I'd love to use it to shoot like cosplayers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can't really do it at events because there's big rules, and especially with what happened last year now? Was it this year? With what happened at Gatwick with the whole.
Oh yeah.
This kind of.
Do you have to have a license to use?
So you have to use it commercially.
Right.
But you can use it without a license. So I think, there's a new guidelines at the minute where you need to sign up to some agreement thing.
It's like
I've done
GDPR or something. Just basically
something to say that you've essentially joined a register for them. But you can just grab one and go out there. But like the beauty, like you could go do it around here. I'm pointing as if anyone can see anything. You could go do it in the
fields,
the field, in the hills, over the lakes and stuff. It's not a problem. But you've got to be careful because you can't be within like 50 meters of a road or buildings, so there's loads of restrictions on it, and especially when there's groups of people. You can't be like flying over groups of people because I don't want injuries and stuff like that. And I mean, some of these drones, you ain't gonna get it because they're more intelligent than I will ever be. They're like, the one I've got, like, if it loses signal with the receiver, the handset, it just goes, all right, then I'll just come back to where we started. It's fine. And it just comes and lands itself, and it's like, it's wicked stuff. So
that's a certain price range for that feature.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, I flew over people today.
I saw that. I was like, what's happening? Firstly, I need to ask, did you eat all 9 sausages?
No, there was a few of us.
Right, that's fine.
I ate half of them, I think, in the end.
And secondly... Wow. How did you end up in a plane over Cumbria this morning?
Oh, it was a present I got a while ago.
That's
wicked. I just had to book a date to book a flying lesson. So I actually flew a plane.
Did you fly it?
Yeah, I was flying it.
So I've done this, but I've done it in a helicopter. I got one as a gift.
Cool.
Fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Right, so, yeah.
You can't talk and fly. I can't talk and fly. People are talking to me as I'm flying. I'm going, I wasn't listening. I was ignoring them because you have to concentrate so hard.
So I'm like, oh, you're all going to die if I do this
wrong.
Well,
like, we took, because he was joking that I was going to, you're going to take off. And I was like, yeah. And he didn't say anything, so I thought he was joking. Yeah. But then we were hurtling down the runway and he goes, over to you. And I'm like, ah! So I just pulled back because he did tell me how to do it before. And luckily I was paying attention. So I just pulled back and we it was only a small plane. We just were off. And I was like, oh my God. And it started shaking. But then you sort of get used to it. Then he took over a bit, but then it's when you get we got like down here, which is about 20 miles. Then the wind starts. You start getting pockets of wind hitting. You're like, oh shit! Oh my God, I can't. And I was like sweating, even though it was like 3 degrees. I'm like, oh my God. People are like laughing and joking, and I'm like, I'm not listening to any of this shit.
I'm glad you're having a good time.
Oh God! But then he took over because he said, we'll have a look around because you're flying over your hometown and your own area. You want to enjoy it. Yeah. So that's when I started taking loads of photos and that.
Yeah, no, I saw that. God, I was like, that's awesome. Wicked. Yeah, so I got one a few years ago. I got a gift, and it was for a helicopter lesson. It was terrifying. It got in there, I wasn't allowed to take off because helicopters.
That's a bit
way
more
different story.
Yeah.
So in this one,
you take off and you go.
Yeah, in this one, you've got 2 foot pedals.
Yeah.
To do this with.
Yeah.
Right. You've got like a handbrake. But the handbrake's to go up and down.
Yeah, it keeps you keeps you on the ground. Yeah.
And then you've got this other little stick that was for tilting backwards and forwards, but you have to balance all 3 of them at the same time. There was no autopilot in this helicopter.
Oh my God!
He gave me the stick, and I kid you not, the helicopter just went from that to that,
from flat to vertical.
Yeah, but obviously he did this. He must do this a lot, obviously, because he's teaching people that don't know what they're doing how to do it. So he obviously did it from 20 feet. So he was like, I'll survive that. It's like, no. And then as soon as I did that, I was about 1.5 inches off the fucking floor, wasn't I? And nearly killed me and this poor dude who puts his life on the line every time he's taken folk out with. Yeah, it was terrifying, but wicked.
Yeah.
And I hate heights, but it was wicked.
I don't mind heights, but yeah, it was intense. We're on the runway. You turn with your pedals. You press the left, and it goes left. You press the right pedal, it goes right. Like the steering wheel thing is useless on the ground.
Yeah.
And as soon as you're in the air, you take off the feet and you're on the throttle thing. Yeah. It's like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. It is really cool.
Obviously, where we live, we're lucky, really.
That's the thing.
This is amazing.
This is what I've always wondered why we don't have a bigger tourist thing for helicopter flights and stuff over the lakes and stuff like that.
We have the hot air balloons and that.
Yeah, there's loads of hot air balloons and that, but obviously it would be a great place. If someone had a load of money to go, tell you what we'll do helicopter tours over the lakes and stuff. It'd be wicked.
Amazing. The only other thing is Cumbria is a Air Force training ground.
That was the
it's like every other day, some jets come past and they go, because if they crash, it's only Cumbria, it'll be fine.
Well,
that must be the attitude.
You joke, it happened, remember, a few years ago. So that's the other thing is they use Cumbria as a training.
It's a big open wide space.
Yeah, there's nobody here.
No, it's just sheep.
There's nobody here. If the guy's lucky, he lands in the water and he can swim, so it's fine. They don't. But yeah, so my day job, I work in forestry. So we were out last year, planting trees up at Malastang, which is some hills over in southern Cumbria. And we were up there every day, and the big AC-130s, remember, from Call of Duty?
Yeah.
That's how we all know our military vehicles.
And our weapons.
Yeah. We stood on the top of this fell, higher than... Because they obviously do a lot of low-flying stuff, and they're coming through the valley, and you can see the top of the aircraft.
Yeah, I've had that.
The scariest one was, 4 of the Apaches came over one day, didn't hear nothing, and then turn around, and then all of a sudden they're just over you, stalking you like a terrifying metal bird. It's Jesus, this is terrifying. So yeah, them things are insane.
If any of our international people listening, I recommend you just Google Cumbria in the Lake District now. and you'll see what we're talking about.
UNESCO now. We've got one of those UNESCO badges.
Oh, like one of the not quite the wonders of the world, but
yeah,
one of those places of
Aldi's
interest.
version.
Costco.
Sorry, Aldi.
No, but it's rightly so. There was a big hoo-ha about that because people like saying, "Hey, but loads of people will come and they'll destroy the Lake District." But like, you need tourism.
Yeah, 100% we do.
Do you think China? We need to. Less people need to come to this wall. It's going to fall down. It's like, shut up.
We got Hadrian's Wall.
Hadrian's Wall. Yeah.
It's not quite as impressive though, is it?
But we do have the history here.
I mean, yeah.
People from America going, wow, they've got history here. That goes back more than 100 years.
I know, right?
Real castles that are made of stone, not plastic.
My first car was older than America is, I think.
Yeah. What was Eddie's dad said? Those American restorations, they can't believe they go, we've restored this to what it was like 50 years ago. Yeah, and they're like, no, nobody was alive then, surely not.
Yeah, it is mad. It's mad to think how mental America is, considering it is only 250, 300 years old. Or
We've got buildings that I like in the town where they've left the original the whatever it was called 200 300 400 years ago, 17 whatever, and it's it's still that. I'm glad they kept it because they could have just got rid of it, but someone had to. I suppose it didn't know how to get rid of it. We'll just leave it.
I think, yeah, I feel like that's a theme. We're just yeah, how do we get rid of this old castle? We'll just leave it. It'll be fine. We'll just all move somewhere else.
Well, there isn't a stonemason anymore. Yeah, but just leave it. It'll be fine. But there's so much history that it's overwhelming sometimes when you think what would this place have been like 200 years ago? Completely different.
100%.
Things that make me think like that is when there's a power cut.
Yeah,
and you just go,
everything I own.
I don't know
useless.
how to live now. I'm just sat here oh no, I need power for that. No, I need power for that. I don't know what to do.
No,
sat here. I'm a terrible human.
I know, right? But I feel like we are. We've created our own the modern cave. Is our home
digital cave?
Where
is what it is.
Yeah, it's the digital fucking era that we're in, and everything is.
This
just
is definitely
connected.
the digital age. Yeah,
and without it.
We've become dependent on it.
What do we do now?
We've become completely dependent on it.
100%.
How often do you see kids playing out in the street? It's not not like it used to. It used to be all the time.
Yeah. The amount of time we'd go out and play we'd play massive games of we didn't call it hide and seek. We had a cooler name for it when we were playing, but we'd do it over the whole town. So we'd go out and there'd be 15 of us, and we'd go off.
Yeah.
And 2 would be the seekers, and the rest of us would just go hide all over town. It was mad.
Yeah, I think we used to call it fox and hounds. We used to call it.
I think that might be the one.
And if you found someone, they then became your team.
Yeah, and then they were on your team.
Yeah.
And you just go hunt for
Well, if it's too big an area, it'll take fucking ages to find. Some people just never be found.
This is the thing.
We start a missing persons campaign. We can't find him.
We didn't have mobile phones. So you literally knew when nobody was.
No.
It was it was mad, and now no.
Going to the end of the street to use a payphone for legitimate reason. Now, if someone uses a payphone, what's he doing? Why is he not? Or it's not a phone; it's a fucking defibrillator.
Well, that's true. Yeah, don't put one of them to your ear. Whatever you do, zap your head. But that's the thing. And most kids, you see them all. They're sat, and they'll be sat in the pub having food with the parents, or whatever, and they've all got £1,000, £1,500 iPhones.
I know. It's crazy.
Madness.
And they're constantly on it.
Yeah,
I call it
we had a 50p floaty football. That's what we had to play with.
I haven't got kids, so my opinion means nothing. But I call it lazy parenting when the kids rah, but put something in front of a phone or a tablet. Silence.
Yeah. I haven't got kids either, so
that's just
I
my
can't
opinion.
talk on this topic, but I'm 100% with you.
You see it all the time. Sometimes you see the entire family doing it.
Oh yeah.
It's why have you come out? Why?
100% lost. lost the art of just like sitting and having a conversation
like this.
Yeah, like it's a dying art form.
It is. That's why I used to like going to the pub with your mates before phones and before all that.
Yeah, 100%.
Never happens now.
Pubs were like a huge community like hub. And it would be where you'd go, you'd meet your mate if he'd come off his holiday to find out all about his holiday. But now you've already seen because he's posted himself on the plane on Instagram.
Well, this is how old I am. When I went travelling in 2003-4,
you had to walk.
we had to buy disposable cameras.
Yeah.
Send the film. We didn't get them developed. Just sent the negatives home.
Yeah.
And then in a year and a half,
I love it.
Then just this is what we did.
I love it.
None of these came out.
Yeah.
But in a way, that was really good. But like now, it's just like instant. Everything instant.
Yeah. Yeah. It all happens instantly.
But as photography will have changed because now you can delete stuff and just take another one.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's. People do say that it's kind of it's a lot easier these days because it's all digital and because you've got you haven't
burst mode.
Well, yeah, but you haven't just got like 32 shots on one roll of film.
Rolls of film.
You've got
there's a thing as well. It's like,
you've got
what?
Like hundreds of images you can store on a massive memory card in your camera and. If they're crap, just delete them and move on. And
take 100 in a row, and you'll get some good ones out of there.
The beauty of it is, if something comes out, the photo's too light or too dark, you've always got the option to just jump into Photoshop and just.
Oh, this is the other thing I was going to talk about. Is like photographers now have to become these expert like software.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like this. There's still, there's still the old horses out there that deal in film and stuff like that. But I've never shot in film, so I don't know. I don't know that side of it, and everything I know and I've ever learned, I just self-taught myself. I went to YouTube, like everybody should just do, and you just figure stuff out.
So you never had any like actual photography lessons?
Nah, I just went to YouTube, read a couple of books, and was like, okay, these are the sort of the rough ideas, and then you just
YouTube's brilliant.
It's like my favorite place
everything,
to be.
Like before I got the first smart speaker, I was like, well, which one should I get? Like, there must be a video, someone comparing the two of them. What can this one do? What can that one do? Or a phone, if you choose anything you can think of, someone's done it.
I guarantee you, if you ever run into any problem in your life, just go to YouTube. Someone will be talking about it.
Who are these people on like social media now? But does anyone know how to just fucking Google it? It's just like, what are you asking us for?
So I've got many pet peeves in my life. One's when you go to like public toilets or like bathrooms in restaurants, hotels, wherever, and you go and use the hand dryer and it's really crap and it barely does anything. It's just like a little wisp of wind.
Or people who don't wash their hands in general.
Yeah, that really bugs me. The other thing is folk that instead of just typing it into Google,
type it into Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Half of it must be an attention thing. They want some.
I mean, it has to be, right? Because. Like, no way.
You know the answers are out there. You don't need to ask like Dave in Doncaster. He's not going to know how to.
I know, right? You love this Dave in Doncaster. It's like, it's got to be.
It's like there was a word for that. Like when you're self-learning all the time. Autodidact.
Wow,
that's the word.
Wow,
someone who's self-teaching. But that's
I mean, that's everybody.
Well, it should be.
You want to be like that.
But you make a habit of like learning stuff all the time.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I'm still a big dummy, but like 10 years ago, I was an even bigger dummy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Everyone should be smarter now because of that.
Yeah, 100%. The fact that when we were kids, the knowledge you knew was what your mates taught you, what you learned at school. And if you read some books and stuff, then brilliant. Yeah. But now, like, I don't know, it's weird. You don't need to. You should learn it, but you don't need to because you've got every piece of everything that's ever existed to gain knowledge from is on your phone. It's insane.
It almost puts like the school learning into question of like who decides what you learn in school when like outside of school they can learn anything they want.
They should be teaching kids about mortgages and money and stuff.
I was just going to say that. Like I didn't know what a mortgage was. I didn't know how credit cards worked.
No,
I didn't know about interest rates or just basic life stuff.
100%.
Like even like you should teach how do you change a tire?
That would be pretty useful.
I'm not gonna lie. Not the fucking angles of a protractor and a fucking pi and all that stuff. When are you going to use that?
I don't think I've ever used it.
Who decides what you should learn and what you shouldn't learn?
I don't know, but I feel like we need to rethink it, because I feel like
let's do it now. Let's.
I don't think we're the guys that can do this.
Let's write a new curriculum right now.
I don't think it's us that should be doing this.
I'll write the curriculum. Google. There you go.
Well, 100%. I feel like the world, especially the digital world, which is everything that's connected to the internet, essentially, it moves at such a fast pace.
Yeah.
That stuff needs to change.
Because I can imagine kids in school, like a teacher says something like this is this, and they might go, no, there's a different way of doing that. You don't have to do it that way, like because they've learned it from somewhere else.
Some dude on YouTube talking about how to do it.
That's
why.
Not the way. That's not the only way.
No, 100%. Like I don't know. YouTube's been great for me for just like figuring stuff out. Like when it comes to Photoshop and stuff like that, you just go to YouTube and figure out how to do it, and then you just start playing away, and then you figure bits out yourself, and then you just go from there. And if you ever get stuck, just throw it back to YouTube.
Yeah, like it's amazing how those unboxing things have become massive. Like,
amazing.
I can't believe the views on
I know, right?
Someone unboxing. Like I saw one for the Amazon Alexa.
Yeah.
Unboxing the latest one.
Yeah.
It's like 43 million views. I'm like, bloody hell.
And it's just literally like a pack of Pringles in a box.
I'm watching a guy open a box.
Yeah. It's insane. The ones that get me at the minute, they were popular like maybe like 6 months ago. Is the folk buying the like cheap like bulk boxes from like Amazon Returns.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing until I came across it.
And then so that you go to like a liquidation company, and they'll have like all the Amazon like returns that have either returned because they didn't want it, or it'd be like faulty, or it'd be warehouse faulty, or like the packaging might be a bit broken, so they'll essentially get rid of it.
Right.
But folk buy them and spend like, I don't know, like £1,000 on like 6 boxes, and then you can just get like loads of random.
They don't know what's in them, do they?
Yeah, it's really weird, but folk are just opening it.
What, are they going to be like faulty items?
So some of them can be.
See that really confused face you're making right now? That was me the other day when I came across this.
It's weird. I don't understand it.
Well,
I think the idea is the Holy Grail piece.
Someone might get some really
expensive that is really expensive, and there's just like a tear on the packaging, and then they get like this like
it's like a really weird storage wars.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, oh, man, what's in this box?
Yeah, but they do actually get to see what's in there before they buy it. But you just get a random box, and anything could be in it.
That's a weird.
But
thing.
People watch everything these days. Like how popular is like Twitch for like people watching play games?
I know, right?
That's
mad.
Like millions upon billions of people doing it. It's watching someone play a computer game.
The amount of people, the ability, especially with the new consoles that come out, to give like
you can do it straight from the console. Can't you?
So people have been streaming for years, but obviously
that's usually PC games.
Yeah, you needed to know what you were doing. Essentially, you needed to have like software to be able to capture it and then upload it and stream it live and stuff like that.
And all
yeah. Whereas now, like you can stream from your PlayStation, your Xbox. You can go straight to like Twitch with it.
Yeah, live
instantly
as
you're playing along, and like that's just it's fascinating.
People make a living because you can.
Oh yeah,
people can give you money whilst you're playing.
Yeah, so you build up followers, and then you start getting like people donate and give you tips and stuff like that, and then
tips. That was what they call it, tips. Yeah.
When you can start getting subscribers and stuff like that, it just goes crazy.
People can make money from that.
Oh yeah, there's so many people out there that make a living from that, doing that.
Yeah.
It's insane. I think it's brilliant
because
who out there has been ever asked the question, what do you want to do when you get older? Like everybody asks that question.
I want to play games for a living.
Like everyone, you always had to be, everyone was always quite sensible and reserved with it because you didn't want to be like judged or whatever. Yeah. Now literally you could do whatever you want. If you can make money by playing video games, then power to you, man.
Well, I think that's maybe something that's come from all the social media and the
100%.
To look stuff up.
It's a great
opens up more doors to possibilities that if you just went to school and listened to one careers advisor.
Yeah, man.
Said, I think you should be an accountant.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be stuck in some office all day. You can play 5 hours of video games and make more than that guy makes in a year. Like some of them are insane amount of like the subscribers they get.
Yeah.
So I think on Twitch it's like a $5 to subscribe.
Yeah.
And Twitch, the website, take like $2.50, and then the streamer gets the other $2.50.
Yeah.
And some of them have, you get, I don't know, 100 subscribers. It's a good little bit of cash every month, innit?
Yeah.
And then you just snowball from there, and you start doing it. And some of these people have made millions from just playing video games.
Yeah, I know it's
insane.
YouTube's clamped down a bit on. They've upped the sort of how many subscribers you need and how many hours. I think you need at least 1,000 subscribers,
and
you
it
need
was
4,000. No, 400 hours a year.
Is that what it was? I thought it was like 4,000.
I think it's only 400 hours.
Something like
That's
that.
Still a lot of hours.
It was a whole lot of hours.
But it goes hand in hand because as your subscribers go up, so does your watch time. And if you're putting a lot of content out,
and I think you've got to think about it like you've got to kind of work the financial side of it out yourself and get your own like promotions and ads in there, because like especially with the whole like YouTube thing last year,
it's not that easy.
There's a lot of folk and like they're now giving the ad people like the power to say who they want to share ads to and stuff like that, and there was loads of drama like last year with it all.
There's another story. Did you hear about people can claim copyright on videos?
Oh yeah.
Even if it's not copyrighted, and that automatically. I don't know if they change it all the time, but automatically you get a strike against your name, and they might take it down.
Yep.
Even though you own it, just because someone said they own it, and it's really difficult to prove that you own it and get it back up.
It's insane. It's a difficult one. It's like it is the double-edged sword, really, isn't it? Because you want the openness and the freedom for people to talk about what they want and kind of do what they want online, but then it
should be on the onus of the person claiming copyright to prove that you own copyright before we'll do anything.
Definitely.
They just as soon as someone claims, well, we're taking it down.
And you only get like 3 of them, and then that's it. Your channel's gone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a.
You must actually. I think when you get to a certain level, you must like if you're quite successful, I reckon you can sort of prove you've already proved that you own your shit. So if anyone.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
You would imagine I don't if someone said that to Joe Rogan, they're going to take his videos down.
Well, they used to. Yeah, but they're terrified of it all the time, aren't they? Because
they don't put anything
always
up,
like, Jamie, don't put it up, don't put it up.
Yeah.
So like, the I can't remember what I was going to say now. That's it. It's gone.
Hey.
It's gone. It's absolutely gone. Just straight out of my head.
I do that a lot.
Like all the time, right?
It's really hard to focus on something.
Yeah.
That today in that flight was probably the most I've ever focused on anything, because it was 100% on this thing that I'm holding in my hands and not killing people.
Well, that's the thing, because you're like, I don't want to kill this guy that sat next to me, because like it would be unfortunate if you were to kill that guy.
Yeah.
Not only that though, you got some friends and family sat behind you, and it's like, well, I don't know this guy and I don't want him dead. Sorry, guys.
But I mean, to focus on something, it really is hard.
It's so difficult, like especially with all the distractions there is these days.
But I always think professionals in whatever they do, whether it's athletes or musicians or even photographers, you've got to be 100% focused on what you're doing
definitely.
To do it really good.
Yeah.
You can't like start thinking about other things, or that's a difficult thing to like focus on.
100%. I struggle with that all the time. Like focus is terrible.
Even now, to focus on, this is something I've had to learn, is to like, you've got to actually listen to what they're saying. Even you're thinking of other things in your head.
Yeah.
Like I've got to think. In fact, this is a compliment to this conversation. Is I've not looked at that once.
Nice.
I've written a lot of things down.
I don't know if this is a good thing or
throw
a bad
it out.
thing.
No, it's because we've just been going back and forth. But
this is what it's all about, though. Isn't
it?
But
to like, you've got to listen to what they're saying, because I've seen somewhere they've just like got. Well, you see typical interviews where they've got questions.
Yeah.
And they wait till the person's answered the question, then they just go, right, the next thing is...
Yeah.
That's an interview. It's not a conversation.
No,
so, like, I need to listen to what the person's saying, because I might have something to add to it, and then they might have something to add back to it, which will be like a whole lot of extra content rather than just moving to the next point. Yeah. I don't really do questions. I just sort of like make bullet points on things.
Well, no,
I do a bit of social media stalking. And, build up some things.
Of course you do. But you've got to have something, because like...
You've got to lead the conversation.
Well, that's the thing, and you want to kind of lead it, but you also want to be like, just in case things start getting a little bit slowed down, you can just turn up with something. Like,
but I've got better at it, being more confident.
Well,
at just
exactly.
Talking.
What were you saying? You've been like 2 years, did you say now?
Yes, 2 and a bit years now.
So like 2 and a bit years, you'll get used to it. But like
50 conversations.
Folk that come in just to be like, I'm just gonna have a conversation. It's really difficult, and folk don't really do it that much. We used to do it all the time when we were kids. We'd sit on the phone for hours with our mates or whatever. But there's none of that anymore, because you'll you'll send some shorthand on a text message or some Facebook
message. I don't do that anymore. No, I type every word properly, even with all the apostrophes and everything.
Terrible.
I don't do any like shorthand or.
You don't. I know why you do it, because you can hide behind autofill now. You don't need to be able to spell anymore.
Oh yeah, do you know what you get? Do you know you get auto-corrected too?
Go on.
Dave Capers.
Yes. so many mistakes from that surname. It's
Vepers.
Vapors. I got the other. So one of the people I took a photo of at a con last November, they entered like a competition for this, like there's like a cosplay community magazine, and they produce a mag with like interviews and different cosplayers and stuff on it, and she entered a photo to go into like the logo.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting chosen to be one of the letters.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I thought that's really cool. And then they, on the bottom of the post, it like listed everybody, and there was this guy called Dave Vapors, and I was like, "Who's this guy? Who is this guy?" Yeah. But the thing is, though, the photo I sent them is watermarked with my name on it. Like that's the worst
they
part.
Couldn't focus, could they?
No, come on, guys, what are you doing? But no, it happens all the time.
Is that one of your claims to fame then?
Probably. It's probably the only one there is. See, I've not really got the biggest following on that on Instagram and stuff like that, but I've not really like focused. I've not really done it just trying to be consistent, getting photos up all the time and all the time. Now I've started that, I can see the change in it.
Yeah.
But there's accounts out there that, I've taken photos of them in their cosplay, and they're putting photos up, and they're getting like hundreds and hundreds of likes on them all. So it's like, it's great in that way. And then 9 times out of 10, they probably won't, but there'll always be that one that then digs a little deeper into who took the photo, and they'll go and investigate, and they'll come and find my stuff. And
I get that with the guests, some of the guests that we have on, especially if it's an artist. I'll put some of their stuff and tag them in it, and then people like that, and then they'll go to I'll quite often see they'll like the picture, then they'll like my thing on Instagram, then they'll like the podcast page, and then I'll get an influx of downloads. And with where we host, I can see where they live in Birmingham or Alabama or whatever. It's quite cool.
Yeah, it is really cool, especially when you start breaking down the insights of who's looking and where they are.
I think it's vital. It's part of your who your audience are.
It's really cool. Well, you need to figure out who's paying attention to you, because they're the ones that if you. It's difficult because you don't say you want to make. You should just want to do it for the fun of doing it. But if you can make money off that as well, then that's perfect. And if
that's what your first aim is, just cover your costs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's 100% the thing.
But like some podcasts go on like live tours, like The Fighter and the Kid.
Yeah.
They're like, but they'll only do that in places where they know they get loads of downloads. So like, it makes sense to do one there.
100%. Yeah, 100%. A lot of them, like Kevin Smith and that, have done it in the past as well. They've come and they've toured the pod. I think they did one. They've done one the start of this year, in March, I think it was. They did him and Ralph Garman do Hollywood Babylon, so it's all like Hollywood like nonsense. And they come and they've toured it, and they did like 3 or 4 spots in the country, and they of course, because they're your people. The more listeners you get, then the more ad revenue you're going to get in, essentially. So that's what it's all about.
It should be like a long-term plan.
Oh, 100%.
I see. I'm in a few like podcast groups about podcasting. Tips just to like learn extra stuff. But there's so many people like they've been podcasting for 5 minutes and they're already asking, "How do you make money?
Yeah,
how do you get sponsored and all that stuff?" You've got to. It's the same like photography. You've got to love doing it to start, because it's a long journey.
Go into something just for the fun of it. And then if you can figure out a way of making money, then perfect. But like, don't just expect it, because then that's where it's going to get. Yeah, you 5 minutes in and you're like, I'm not. What's happening? I'm not making any money. This is rubbish. I'm leaving. I'm quitting. And it's like, nah, just go and have fun and enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, 9 times out of 10 people are going to enjoy it back, and then it just snowballs.
Then,
yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
So have you tried any other types of photography, like food or other different like wildlife or stuff like that?
I haven't. I mean, I've taken some photos of like some zebras and stuff at the zoo.
Does
that count?
Just because I've seen some photographers where sometimes they've started doing one thing, but then they've tried other stuff. And they go, "Oh, actually, I do this. I like this."
So I haven't really done a lot. Like landscapes are where I started, and then I kind of went into that sort of wedding scene. I love that kind of. The things I did love about weddings was like the candid stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just like the more natural you get people, you get those kind of interactions.
Those are the better photos, aren't they?
100%,
rather
especially
than the staged ones.
Yeah, at weddings and stuff like that. I tended to focus on the more candid stuff because you do get people in a natural light.
You see those photos of someone like enjoying themselves, but they clearly didn't know that it was being taken. Those are the best ones.
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously,
I think I saw one of. I don't know if it was you. Took one of a dog. Did you get one of a dog at a wedding? Maybe it was somebody else.
I don't remember the dog at a wedding. 100%.
Maybe somebody else I'm thinking of. But it was just like I could tell it wasn't because you can't get a dog to.
Yeah.
The dog was just like I think it was like just after a stretch. You know, the dogs always stretch. It just like that. It just looked like that. Looked like you couldn't get a dog to actually go on. Just pause. Just lift your head up. Go on, like obviously. But it was just he just caught it right at the right moment. It was awesome.
Yeah, like that stuff. Capturing those random. Just natural moments of interaction between each other is great, and then there's obviously you're going to need the pose, the big stage sets, and you're going to need that. And then that I kind of just went from there into the sort of cosplay realm, with then starting to go to Comic Cons and stuff like that, and doing stuff like that. I mean, I'd quite happily get into any of it, to be honest. If I've got a camera in my hand, I'm having fun 9 times out of 10. You know, I did some like independent stuff when I first got my camera with some local like fashion designers and stuff like that, and we did a couple of bits of, like shoots where we go around. We were in the middle of Birmingham, like shooting them in like really cool like urban settings and stuff like that. It was wicked.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting into stuff like that would be brilliant. It's just like you said earlier, there's like a billion other people trying to do this as well. So
it's a crowded market.
Yeah, you just got to find your niche.
Yeah.
And then go from there and find out what you like to do and the way you like to shoot and edit and stuff like that, and then go from there and just.
I think also if you're doing one thing, if you stick at it, the longer you stick at it, the more you get known.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because people are going to come and go all the time because they're doing it for various reasons.
If you're chopping and changing into this, that, and the other, then.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. A little bit like that. A little bit.
But I mean, the conventions, like the last 3 years, maybe it's just gone.
Oh, they've got
like an explosion,
so big.
I can't.
So big.
It's completely taken it by surprise.
Insane. How
it's the passion as well that comes across.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's just like I said earlier. It's just a great way you can just walk up to someone and have a conversation with them about anything. You
don't have to worry about anything.
Something specific that they're wearing or whatever, and it's great. And you just go and you just meet some wicked people.
Yeah.
And you like I say, I've met loads of people, and it's just where you feel like. Well, I kind of fit in here now.
Yeah.
This is my place.
Have you ever been in any photography competitions?
No.
Any photos you think,
nah.
what kind there? No?
I would never do it because I'm like, I hate my stuff. Like
too
most
much
of the time, I'm like, this is garbage. Nobody wants to see this. But then you send it to people, and most people are either being really polite.
That's something you got to try and get better at.
Or they kind of love it. So I'm like, well, I must be doing something right.
You've got to get a bit better at sort of thing. Yeah, I'm okay.
I think I'm gradually maybe getting there.
It's like we were talking to last time to Melanie Baker about people or singers like getting to like their own voice, sounding their own voice, not just talking but the singing voice. If that's what you want to do, you just. It's part of it. You can't escape it.
100%. 100%. You need to get that little bit of self-confidence, and the thing when you start working with people and they start enjoying what you've given them, then that's where you start feeling, oh, actually, I did a pretty good job there. But it's a difficult battle to.
I know what you're saying about as well. Is like people get a buzz from something you've done, like a photo, and like you see it like getting loads of shares. You're like,
yeah. That's what I mean. Like, it's great for folk to. When they get a load of shares and loads of people are commenting on it and loving it, then it's like, yes, my work here is done. It's great.
Yeah. So where can people find you if they want to get
Facebook
your work?
is Dave. We'll put a link in the description for this one. Dave Vepers Photography on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or at that Veeps on Instagram. My two main
do you do Twitter or not?
Jams. I don't really use it for. I'd use it for perusing the internet.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, nothing. I don't really use it that much. It might be something I start getting into eventually.
Yeah. What about website?
I used to have one, but it's way easier.
Just use a social media platform.
Yeah, it was way easier using social media because Facebook, you can just chuck all the photos up on there, and you can tag folk in them, and they're there. If they want to download them straight off Facebook, they can just do that.
Or they
just email
me, contact you
and I'll send them over the high res stuff or whatever they need.
I was going to say, have you had people using your stuff without permission, like anything like that, like Sabrina had?
No, not really. Like other than the girl that entered us into that magazine competition thing.
Oh right, yeah.
I didn't know she'd done it, but like, it was fine. We still got mentioned and stuff like that. So it's not really that.
Yeah.
I'm not that big yet to be getting stuff
so
like that. So it's fine.
We talked the other day when I bumped into you about maybe dabbling in live event photography. Is that something you'd like to try?
I'd love to.
That's a lot of low light photography.
I know, right? Yeah.
Have you had much experience in the low light stuff?
I've just in like at weddings, stuff like that. So like,
when you go inside, in, like,
if you're in churches and like lights, like it's fine for the naked eye, but with your camera out, you're gonna need you need to know what settings you're getting into when you're in stuff like this, because like the naked eye is like the perfect optical stuff. So like, it's difficult. It is a difficult game, but it'd be quite fun. I'd love to shoot. I just like taking photos. So I'd give it a shot, definitely. 100%.
Because in the music industry, there's a lot of people just putting photos up of just not even thinking about the photographer. I developed quite a relationship. I always sought out the photographers and talked to them and made sure we'd always credit them if they used our photos. But some of the venues, they were like, "Oh, you're playing there. The fucking lights are shit in there."
Oh yeah,
So they come in a little. I know which lens to use, and like you look at the photos. When you see the light, it is terrible, and you look at the photos and you go, "That's amazing." They just automatically know what to do. Yeah,
we get that when you go to Comic-Con. There'll be like, if we bump into other photographers, we're all like, fucking hell, the lights are shitting in here, aren't they? And like, so that's why 9 times out of 10, if you see a lot of the Comic-Con stuff, they'll more than likely just nip outside and go find somewhere where there's loads of good natural light.
Sometimes at the opposite end of the scale, it's too bright.
Yeah.
And it just takes away all textures.
Yeah,
and all
you can find that, but it's just about mastering that. What the camera picks up and because the way like I say, the way we see it is totally different to where the camera's going to see it. So,
it's true, yeah. You learn these things, don't you?
Yeah, it's all about learning these things, and like I'm nowhere near like any kind of level of like professional.
You're still on the journey, aren't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's just a bit of fun, and just.
You love doing it, so
yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
If you love it and it stops becoming fun, then something's wrong.
Yeah, 100%. If you ain't having fun with it, then you need to go figure something else out.
It's a hard slog.
Well, yeah, we're here for like 90 years, probably.
If you're lucky.
Don't do something that you hate.
I know.
It's just not worth it.
Especially not like something that's classed as a hobby.
Yeah.
That you want to turn into a business.
It's like if you've got a hobby that you're not really enjoying anymore, then
it's like, what are you doing?
Go find a new hobby. Because it's not working. It's not working. You don't want to slog out doing the same thing if you're not, especially with stuff like photography. If you're not putting your love into it, it'll show in what you produce at the end of it.
I suppose you've always got to try and get better as well, not just sort of reach a certain level and go, I'm all right, this is as good as I need to be.
I'm never going to get, you'll get like the odd photo where you're like, this is amazing, I'm a big fan of this. I'm not like, well, I'm now the master. Like, that's not how it works. You need to, you're always learning,
Sometimes it's usually let other people say how good you are or what they make of you.
Getting feedback and stuff like that from your pictures and your work.
Especially
and stuff
from people
like
who you don't know.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
That's more honest.
Don't listen to your family because they're always going to tell you it's really good unless they hate you. And then they're going to tell you it's garbage. But yeah,
it's really good. What is it?
I don't really get it, but I enjoy it. Like,
I know you, so I'll tell you that it's all right.
Yeah, exactly. Friends are terrible as well. Most of them, they'll lie to you.
Oh well, Dave, thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, an absolute pleasure.
Definitely have you back on when you've done some more mad
stuff.
Corner,
so I'll figure out. I'll get some mad plans in the works, and I'll come back and tell you all about it.
We'll see you. We'll keep track of your work with Mr. Tatty Tim.
Oh yeah,
as he starts to take over the world with his rebrand.
Look out for his rebrand coming soon. What a guy, absolute legend.
All right, cheers, Dave. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, dude. Pleasure.